So good morning. In this video we are going to see about the gait analysis of human body. What is gait analysis? It is simply said can be simply said as a study of human locomotion or human body's forward propulsion. Okay, it can be in both walking and running. Walking is a series of gait cycle. A single gait cycle is also known as a stride. So what are the main tasks of the gait cycle? Weight acceptance, the most demanding task of the gait cycle, because it should be your legs should be able to accept the own weight of the body. Okay, also involves the transfer of body weight into one limb that has just finished swinging forward and has an unstable alignment. So there will be transfer of weight from one limb to the other limb. So it will have just swinging forward and it should have completed the initial contact. So that will be also occurring in this. Then shock absorption. So initial impact and it should be able to absorb the shock provided by the body weight, and maintenance of forward body progression. The second task is single limb support. So one limb must be able to take the entire body weight without any difficulties. Okay, the same limb must provide tronical stability while body progression is continued. It should be providing all directional stabilities in all these directions, should be able to provide. Okay, then the third property would be limb advancement. Required foot clearance from the floor. Okay, one leg is lifted up from the ground, then the limb swings forward in three portions: early swing, mid swing and late swing, then travels to the destination in the front of the body. Okay, it travels to three swing portions, then it strikes the forward part of the body, or it can be say a forward portion from the before limb. So why we should study normal human gait? The loss of the major reason is loss of ability to walk can result in significant health problems. Various comorbidities are also there. Okay, the pain, injury, paralysis, tissue damage can also normal human gait. Further musculoskeletal compensations, any back pain can compensate, hip hiking can occur, and then cardiovascular and pulmonary problems can also inactivity due to pain. There might be long time bedridden, this type of cases, and psychology problem. They don't want to go out. As you know, all this kind of any pandemic kind of situation, people never like to go out. They stay depressed after seeing all the news, and they don't engage them into any kind of physical activities. So it is also important that the sports, exercise, fitness and rehabilitation professionals must have a sound knowledge of normal gait so that they can accurately detect or interpret any kind of deviations from the normal or any kind of pathologies so that they can retain the normal function of the human gait, and it should be pain free. It is also important to remember that each person displays normal variations from the normal pattern of walking. The ultimate goal is to keep yourself and your patient and clients moving pain free throughout your and their lifespans. This is a normal walking requirement. There are four major criteria essential for walking. One is equilibrium, the ability to assume an upright posture and maintain balance. Okay, you should be able to maintain a straight posture without falling left and right, and should be able to maintain the balance. Number two will be the locomotion, the ability to initiate rhythmic stepping, rhythmic forward propulsion of human body, as you can see. Then the third property would be the musculoskeletal integrity. There will be normal bone and joint and muscle function should be there. Then neurological control. Then the nervous system should send the messages, the visual, vestibular, auditory and sensory motor input, so that you can normally able to move forwardly. You can produce the rhythmic forward propulsion of the human body without any kind of difficulty. So now we are going to see about the gait cycle or a stride. As a gait cycle or a stride can be defined as a period when one foot contacts the ground to when that the same foot contacts the ground again. Okay. Each stride has two phases, stance phase and the swing phase. Stance phase is the foot is in contact with the ground. Swing phase is the foot won't be in the contact with the ground. This is one of the difference between them. So this explains a single gait cycle or a stride. Okay. There will be initial contact, then loading response will happen. This leg will take over the loading of the entire body. Then mid stance will happen. Then the heel is lifted up from the ground. Then terminal stance will happen. Then slowly toe will also lift up from the next phase. The toe is lifting off in this phase. This phase we call as pre-swing phase. Then the initial swing will happen. Then this is toe is lifting off. Initial swing, it is in the air. It is not in the contact with the ground. Then mid swing, it will be again in the mid position and it won't have contact at the ground. Then the late swing, the terminal swing, you can say, the heel and toe will finally get the contact ground. Then it will continue as a cycle. So this is until there is a contact, there is a until the pre-swing phase, that is called as stance phase. And the initial swing, mid swing and terminal swing phase is called as swing phase of the gait. Okay. Then this can also, you can see this. Okay. Then we'll move to the next. So this can be further be divided into like this, like a small flow chart I want to show you. There will be stride and stance and swing. Stride is a gait cycles phase. It can be divided into two phases, stance phase and swing phase. Stance phases can be further divided into two. That is, one is weight acceptance and single limb support. Weight acceptance, initial contact will happen. Loading response will happen in this weight acceptance. Then single limb support. This three stance phases will occur. Mid stance, terminal stance and pre-swing phase will also occur in this pre-limb support. Sorry, two stance phase and one swing phase will occur in the pre-limb support. Then the limb advancement. Swing phase consists of limb advancement only. It consists of all the three phases along with all the four phases of the swing phase. The pre-swing, initial swing, mid-swing and the terminal swing. This can be more or less the same. So what and all we should look when the person is walking? We should look for his neck position, whether it is right. We should look for a normal lumbar curve and a normal thoracic curve and a cervical curve. Then slight extension of thighs should be there. Then the knee should be locked. They should be actively moving without any kind of support. Then the forward propulsion of foot must also be noted. And the normal posture and the gait pattern should also be noted. So now we will see about the phases of gait. First we will see the stance phase of the gait. When the foot is in contact, the stance phase is when the foot is in contact with the ground only. It is a propulsive phase. The stance phase has 5 parts, as you can see. There will be initial contact, that is heel strike, the loading response, foot flat, then mid stance. It also combined with the loading response, then the terminal stance and the swing of pre-swing phase. Okay. Initially heel is contacted, there will be weight bearing only on the heel. Then the entire loading response, then foot flat will happen, the entire foot will take the load along with the great toe. Then the mid stance will also occur in this phase itself. The terminal stance is when the heel is slowly getting off the ground and it is less weight bearing. Only the toes and the forefoot is on the ground, so that part is alone is weight bearing. The final swing, the pre-swing phase, only the toes will be weight bearing. So now we will see the motions during the stance phase. Shoulder flexes, the pelvis rotates to the right in the transverse plane, the spine rotates to the left, hip extends and internally rotates, the knee flexes and extends, ankle plantar flexes, dorsiflexes and plantar flex, the foot pronates and supinates, toes flex, extend and flex. The first we are going to see about the initial contact phase, the phase 1, the momentum where the red foot reaches and touches the floor. Okay, as you can show you the full picture, I think. Yeah, as you can see, the red foot reaches and touches the floor. The heel calcaneus is the first bone to have the contact with the ground. Okay. Meanwhile, the blue leg is in the terminal stance. The heel is getting off and the toes is only in the contact with the ground. Okay. So these are the static positions of the initial contact. Freeze frame positions, as you can also say. Then the shoulder is extended, pelvis is rotated to the left, hip is flexed and externally rotated. The knee is fully extended, the ankle is dorsiflexed and the foot is supinated. And wait just a minute. Toes are slightly extended. Okay. Then we will see about the loading response. The loading response, there are two phases. This is the second phase. The double stance period is the beginning of this phase. The body weight is transferred to the red leg, as you can see. Then the phase 2 is important for shock absorbance, weight bearing and forward progression of the human body. The blue leg is now terminal swing to pre-swing phase. It has moved from the terminal swing to the pre-swing phase. So these are the static portions of the loading response. Shoulder is slightly extended, pelvis is rotated to the left, the hip is flexed and externally rotated. and the slightly externally rotated, not fully. Okay, the knee is slightly flexed, the ankle is plantar flexed to neutral, and the foot and toes will be in the same position and will be in the neutral. So we will now see the mid stance phase. Phase 3, the single limb support interval. Okay, the one leg body will be supported with only one limb. Now begins the lifting of the blue foot and continues until the body weight is aligned over the red supporting foot. Okay, so it will be beginning of the lifting the blue foot. Entire toe is now getting off. Then the body weight is moved to the red foot. Okay, this foot, as you can see, the red leg advances over the red foot. The blue leg is in the mid swing phase. Okay. So these are the static positions in the mid stance phase. The shoulder will be remaining in the neutral, pelvis in the neutral position, hip is in neutral, knee is fully extended, ankle is relatively going to be neutral, foot is going to be pronated, and toes is going to be in the neutral position. Finally, we are going to see about the terminal stance phase. This is the fourth phase. The knee begins when the red heel rises and continues until the heel of the blue foot hits the ground. I can show you the picture also. Wait, just a minute. Yeah, as you can see, then the red heel rises and continues until the heel of the blue foot hits the ground. Okay, the body weight progresses beyond the red foot. It progresses to the blue foot. Okay. Some static positions during the terminal stance. Shoulder is slightly flexed, pelvis is rotated to the left, hip is extended and internally rotated, knee is fully extended, ankle is dorsiflexed, foot is slightly supinated, and toes will be remaining in the neutral position. In this, we are going to see about the phase 5, that is going to be the toe-off phase, the second double stance interval in the gait cycle. It is the second double stance interval in the gait cycle, begins in the initial contact of the blue foot. Here it is beginning, then ends with the toe off, the red toe off. Okay. Then the transfer of body weight from ipsilateral to opposite limb takes place. Now same side limb to the opposite limb of the body weight transfer take place in this toe off phase. The static positions in the toe off phase are: shoulders will be flexed, hip is the pelvis is going to be rotated to the right, hip is fully extended and IR, that is going to be the internal rotation. Knee is extended, ankle is plantar flexed, the foot is supinated and toes are fully extended. So now we will see about the stance phase characteristics. During the single stride, that is a single gait cycle, there are two periods of double limb support. One is both feet on the ground. Okay, loading response, the right, the toe off in the left. Then the loading response in the left leads to the toe off in the right. So now we will move to the swing phase. Okay, the swing phase consists the foot won't be in the contact with the ground. Okay, then limb advancements phase, you can also call this. There are three phases: initial swing, mid swing, and the terminal swing phase. These are the motions happening during the swing phase. The shoulder will be slowly extended, spine rotates to the right, pelvis is rotated to the left, that occurs passively, hip flexes and externally rotates, knee flexes and extends, ankle dorsiflex, foot supinates and inverts slightly, then the toe extends. This is the phase 6, that is the initial swing phase. Begins with the right foot is lifted from the floor. This left foot will be lifted away from the floor and ends with the red swinging foot in the opposite blue stance foot. Okay, it ends with the red swinging foot. The red foot will be swinging is the opposite blue stance foot. Okay, it changes to this blue foot. Simply saying. Okay, it is during this phase the foot drop gait is most apparent. The foot drop gait will be most apparent in this initial swing phase. Then the blue leg is in the mid stance. Static positions during at the initial swing phase are: the shoulder is flexed, spine is rotated to the left, pelvis is rotated to the right, hip is slightly extended and internally rotated, knee is slightly flexed, and the ankle is plantar flexed, fully plantar flexed, and foot is supinated and toes are slightly flexed. So now we will move to the mid swing phase, that is the phase 7. It starts with the end of the initial swing, continues until the red swinging limb is in the forward of the body. Okay. So it starts with the end of the initial swing phase and continues until the red swinging limb is moving towards the forward of the body. It should be alignment here, you can see. Then the advancement of the red leg. The blue leg is in the late mid stance. So some static portions maintained in the mid swing phase are shoulder is neutral, spine is neutral, pelvis and hip is neutral. Knee will be flexed to 60 to 90 degrees, ankle is plantar flexed to neutral, foot is neutral and toes are slightly extended. Finally, we will see about the terminal swing phase, that is the phase 8. Begins in the end of the mid swing and ends at when the foot touches the floor. Okay, the limb advancement is completed at the end of this phase. The limb is advanced completely forward, as you can see in this phase. Okay, these are some static portions in the terminal swing phase. Shoulder is extended, spine is rotated to the right, pelvis is rolly rotated to the left, hip is flexed and externally rotated, knee is fully extended, ankle is fully dorsiflexed and foot is neutral, toes are slightly extended. So that's the end of our first gait video. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe, share for further updates. Thank you.